Are you a coach and are you active on Instagram, but do you have days where you simply do not know what to post to your Instagram stories? Then this is the right video for you, because in today's video, we're going to be tackling Instagram story ideas specifically for coaches. So let's get to it. Hi, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Yoka. I'm the founder of Unbound Creative Agency, where we help entrepreneurs launch and scale lead generating personal brands. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get updates on future videos. And then without further ado, let's dive into today's topic. So Instagram story ideas for coaches. Through your Instagram stories, I love Instagram stories. Through your Instagram stories, you can really develop a connection with your followers, with your ideal client. The reason for this is that it is a little bit more behind the scenes, raw and uncut, and really a way for your followers to get a glimpse of who you are as a person. It is less polished than what you would post on your feed, or maybe less polished than other social media platforms such as YouTube or Facebook. This is really you grabbing the camera and sort of showing people who you are. And I just love that. Now, we all have days where we simply do not know what to post. So this is a great video for you to come back to on those days. So you can actually click the save button down below to save this video to one of your playlists so that you can keep coming back to it later on when you are a little bit uninspired on what to post on Instagram stories. So let's get to it. Instagram story idea number one for coaches is ask me anything. Now, this might seem as a not very original idea, but it's still something that people don't use enough. If you have a day where you don't know what to post, simply start your day with a story and say like, hey guys, I was thinking today would be a great day for you to ask me your questions. So ask me anything related to, and then you insert what you're coaching on. So if that's relationships, ask me anything related to relationships. If that is business, it could be ask me anything you want to know about scaling to 10K a month. And then just wait a couple of hours, go back in and actively answer the questions that you got. And you have a full day of content on your Instagram stories. Plus, you get a lot of great ideas for long form content that you can create down the road. So I use this to sort of gauge what my audience is interested in, what questions they have. And then based on that, I can create YouTube videos. Or I use it whenever I am recording a podcast and I tell them like, hey, this person will be on my podcast. What questions do you have around insert the topic? And that way I don't have to prep for my podcast interviews that heavily, because I can just ask questions that I already know my podcast listeners want answers to. Story idea number two is testimonials. So another great thing to share on days where you're feeling a little uninspired is basically just go back and look at the messages that you got from clients. Maybe you even have a couple of video reviews. Post those on your stories. It's a great way to establish social proof and to sort of show to your followers what kind of a transformation you can facilitate for your clients. Story idea number three is using polls. So you can use the polls sticker in your Instagram stories to sort of gauge where your audience is at. Concrete example, for example, someone that was on my podcast is a hormone coach, and she will use this in her stories to ask about hormonal birth control. Are you on the pill? Yes or no? Did someone explain to you what the side effects were from using hormonal birth control? Yes or no? And that way she can gauge where her audience is at. It's great to share in your stories, but it's also, again, a great way to learn more about your audience and what type of content you might want to be creating in the future. Story idea number four is behind the scenes. So this could be behind the scenes of you coaching someone. It could be behind the scenes of an event that you're speaking at. It could be behind the scenes of a retreat. It might even just be you taking them along behind the scenes of a day at your practice and then showing what that would be like. This is really a nice way to show people a little bit more about what it would be like working with you, who you are as a person and to sort of really create that human connection, which is what content creation is all about. Story idea number 5 is a really easy one. This is where you talk about a product or a service that you love. So this is sort of taking the spotlight away from you and sharing it with someone else or another business. You could tap into their audience as well. Let's say that you are a coach and you are working with an agency that does a lot of work for you. You can tag them in your story and then they can share that with their audience as well, increasing your reach that way. It is also just, again, a great way to sort of show who you are as a person. Let's say that you really like a certain coffee brand, and coffee has nothing to do with the fact that you're a coach, but you're just really a coffee lover. You can talk about that, tag them. That increasing reach might not really do something for your business, but the fact that you're sharing in your stories that you love coffee so much, there's gonna be a bunch of people in your audience going like, me too. I love coffee. I like you more because I know that you like coffee now. So that's, again, a great way to sort of show who you are as a person, and also a really easy thing to do if you're feeling uninspired. Story idea number 6 is let me reintroduce myself. So this is something that we don't do enough, myself included. You have your followers on social and you're gaining followers slowly over time, and you sort of forget that those new followers might not know your story or your journey or why you became a coach. So it is interesting to maybe once every 2 months, once every 3 months, reintroduce yourself in your stories and sort of go like, hey, I thought today I would take the time to tell you about my journey and reintroduce myself, and then create a couple of stories about where you came from, sort of the whole hero journey, right? Where you came from, what your struggle was, how you overcame that, why you became a coach, etc. You can easily do that every 2 or 3 months, and don't be afraid of people unfollowing you because of that, because if they do, they're not going to turn into a client anyway. The people that are your fans and the people that want to work with you will not mind seeing that over and over again. Story idea number 7 is ask for recommendations or help with a specific topic. So this could be anything from you traveling to a new city and asking for restaurant recommendations to saying, hey, I've had this problem lately. What would you do if you were in my shoes? And then again, use a sticker that allows for people to leave their answers to your question. And then later in the day, just share some of those answers and maybe your reaction to it. And again, full day worth of content with one simple story that you posted in the morning. Story idea number 8 is why I got into coaching, and any type of content that ties back to that. So that can be something as simple as you having an amazing experience with friends and then sharing that and saying like, hey, this is why I got into coaching, to be surrounded by all of these amazingly inspiring people. It could be, let's say that you're a positive parenting coach and you are going to an event with kids and you see this lovely interaction between a mother and her child. Ask, hey, can I take a picture? And then share it on your stories and sort of explain what you witnessed, and then tie it back into this is why I became a positive parenting coach. You can do this with so many things that happen to you throughout the day. Anything that you can tie back to why you got into coaching in the first place is a good idea to share on your stories. Story idea number 9 is quick tips. This is very easy to do. It doesn't take a lot of work. Let's say someone DMs you and they ask a question related to the topic that you're coaching in. You could then take it to your stories and go like, hey, people keep asking me this question. Here's a quick answer, or here's a quick tip on that. It could be you went out to get a cup of coffee at a local coffee shop and you witnessed an interaction and you were like, let's say that you're a communications coach and you're like, hey, I noticed this interaction this morning in the coffee shop. Here's a quick tip if you're interacting with this type of person or if you're communicating with this type of personality. So anything, again, in your daily life that you can sort of hop on and share something about is great for your stories, because it tells more about who you are as a person, what you're witnessing in your daily life, and you're sharing your expertise at the same time. Story idea number 10 is share a book, TV series, or movie that you really love. This is Not so much to build your expertise, but it is a great way to connect with your audience. For me, for example, I grew up on Harry Potter movies, and I'm sure when I share that there's a lot of other like 90s kids that will be able to relate to that, and they will be like, oh my god, me too, I grew up on Harry Potter, and now I feel like I can relate to you more, connect with you more because you like something that I like. So that's something really easy to do, and you can easily create 3 to 4 15-second stories on a book, TV series, or movie that you really love. Story ID 11 is post a time lapse. So this could be as simple as filming a time lapse of you working, or filming a time lapse of your morning routine, or let's say that you do meditation in the morning. Just film a time lapse and then post it and write a nice quote on it. And this is something that piques people's interest because not a lot of people are using time lapses in their stories. Story idea number 12 is share an anecdote. So this could be from your early days coaching to something that happened to you today, but simply share it on your stories and keep in mind sort of the story arc. So always tie it back to either why you got into coaching or how this is a learning for every one of your followers as well. And so really explain why you're telling this anecdote right now. So it doesn't make any sense for you to hop on Instagram and just go, hey, I thought I would tell you this story about something that happened to me 10 years ago. People would be like, why am I watching this? Why are you telling me this now? However, if you go like, oh my God, I went out this morning and this happened, and it reminded me of this time 10 years ago when I was just starting out as a coach, and this and this and this and this and this happened. Now, tying it back to the present moment, 10 years later, I've learned this and this and this and this and this. And so what you as my follower can take away from that is this. And that's how you tell an anecdote, and that's how you sort of tie it back to the present and tie it back to why it is interesting to your followers as well. Story ID number 13 is share a reaction to a current event. Now, this is especially powerful if you are in personal development, wellness, health niche of coaching. Let's say the moment that Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. A lot of my friends who are coaches in that industry jumped on that to sort of share their perspective, talk about patterns, talk about shame and guilt and aggression. And that is something that immediately people relate to because this is something that just happened, that is really on top of every social media feed. It's in the news. And so if you jump on that, that will pique their interest simply because you're talking about this event. And it's a great way to then interlace that with your expertise and draw people into what you have to offer that way. Story idea number 14, very easy, tease an upcoming post. So if you've been thinking about posting about a certain topic, you can simply go to your Instagram stories a couple of days before and go like, hey, I'm creating a post around this and this and this topic. This is why. If you want to be the first to see it, send me a reaction. If you have specific questions around the topic, let me know. It's really just teasing what is yet to come. It's something very easy to do. It will take you 2-3 minutes to create. And then again, enough content on your stories for the rest of the day. If you like these story ideas, make sure to give this video a thumbs up so that we know to create more content like this. And then make sure to check out a bunch of links in the description below if you want more freebies that we have to offer, or if you want to hop on a call to see if we can actually help you grow and scale your personal brand. And the team and I would be more than happy to see if we're the right fit for you. It's all in the description down below, so just go and check that out. And then in the meantime, make sure to check out these videos over here, and then I will see you in the next one.